Hello, welcome to Bible study time and welcome to my quiet time Bible study. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and thank you so very much for liking the videos, sharing the videos, and also thank you for subscribing. My Hebrew name is Ahava, which means love, and this is the time where I invite you to come and join me in the comfort of my prayer room. And we are continuing with our read-along series. We're reading through the book of Jubilees, and this week we're going to continue reading through, beginning with chapter 9. But before I read through that, I just wanted to highlight a couple of things from the previous chapters we read last week, chapters number 7 and number 8. And in the book of Jubilees, what stuck out to me in chapter 7, quite a lot of things, as you guys know, there are so many pieces of meat in there, but we will definitely address most of it at the end of this study when we get to the end of this book. But what we saw last week was that the book of Jubilees highlighted very similarly what took place before the flood with the sons of men and the sons of God, mirroring the detail that was actually in the book of Enoch. When you go to Genesis chapter 6, it doesn't really go into heavy detail, but we did find that the book of Jubilees went into more detail than Genesis 6. It also spoke in detail about how important it was for the sons of Noah to abstain from blood, eating blood, and things of that nature, highlighting how much bloodshed actually took place on the earth before the flood, right? Before the flood sort of cleansed the earth, and all of this bloodshed, along with what they were engaging in, made the earth abominable. And as I mentioned, the flood purified the earth from all the blood that was shed upon it. Then in chapter 8, we read something that was very interesting to me about Canaan, who found some writings that former generations had carved in a rock, read these writings, and then proceeded to transcribe these writings. And the text said that he sinned in actually owning these writings. Now, then we went on to read that this writing contained the teachers of the watchers that had sinned. Very interesting. And he kept it to himself and did not tell Noah about it. So this ancient writing is telling us that even though the Most High Creator God of the universe wiped out the ancient world, this individual, Canaan, found this occultic writing, transcribed it, and then hid it from everyone, basically. I call it occultic writing because in my research, I found that many biblical scholars believe that this writing is actually where a lot of occultic knowledge came from, or comes from. And it also speaks to the origin of things like mysticism, where and things of that nature, where mysticism, occultism come from. And in the book of Jubilees, we kind of read that the writing spoke of omens and, watching the sun and the moon and things of that nature, not in a good way. He sinned by owning these writings and transcribing these writings. So once again, the book of Jubilees fills in the blanks per se, and it kind of like answers some questions one might have about how things have continued and transpired historically, like after the old earth had been destroyed. Where did the giants come from? And, where did sin come from if the Most High Creator God had washed everything away? And of course, then we finished off reading about how Noah divided the earth amongst his sons. We will definitely be revisiting some of those concepts, some more. But let's just continue reading this week. As I mentioned, we're going to be reading through the next couple of chapters in this video. Chapter number 9. I'll just see how long it takes. Don't want this video to be too long, but I would like to proceed in a timely manner. Okay, so for those of you who actually have this book, I'm on chapter 9 and I'm on page 35. So let's continue reading. Verse 1. And Ham divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came forth for Cush towards the east, and to the west of him for Mizrahim, and to the west of him for Put, and to the west of him, and to the west thereof on the sea for Canaan. And Shem also divided amongst his sons, and the first portion came forth for him and his sons to the east of the river Tigris, till it approaches the east, the whole land of India, and on the Red Sea, on its coast, and the waters of Dedan, and all the mountains of Mabri and Elah, and all the land of Susan, and all that is on the side of Farnak, to the Red Sea, and the river Tina. And for Asher came forth the second portion, all the land of Ashur and Nineveh and Shinar, and to the border of India, and it ascends and skirts the river. And for Arpharshad came forth the third portion, all the land of the region of the Chaldees to the east of the Euphrates, bordering on the Red Sea, and all the waters of the desert close to the tongue of the sea which looks toward Egypt, all the land of Lebanon and Sinir and Ammana to the border of the Euphrates. And for Aram there came forth the fourth portion, all the land of Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and the Euphrates, to the north of the Chaldees, to the border of the mountains of Ashur, and to the land of Arrazah. And there came forth the Lud, the fifth portion. I'll repeat that. And there came forth for Lud, the fifth portion, the mountains of Ashur, and all appertaining to them, till it reaches the great sea, until it reaches the east, Ashur his brother. And Japheth also divided the land of his inheritance amongst his sons. And the first portion came forth for Gomer to the east from the north side to the river Tina, and in the north there came forth for Magog all the inner portions of the north, until it reaches to the sea of Miat. And for Madah came forth as his portion, that he should possess from the west of his two brothers to the islands and to the coasts of the islands. And for Javan came forth the fourth portion, every island and the islands which are towards the border of Lud. And for Tubal there came forth the fifth portion in the midst of the tongue, which approaches toward the border of the portion of Lud, to the second tongue, to the region beyond the second tongue, into the third tongue. And for Meshach came forth the sixth portion, all the region beyond the third tongue, till it approaches to the east of Gadir. And for Tiras there came forth the seventh portion, 4 great islands in the midst of the sea, which reach to the portion of Ham, and the islands of Camarti came out by lot for the sons of Arpharshad as his inheritance. And thus the sons of Noah divided into their sons, or unto their sons, in the presence of Noah their father. And he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on everyone that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot. And they all said, So be it, so be it, for themselves and their sons forever, throughout their generations, till the day of judgment, on which the Lord God shall judge them with a sword and with fire for all the unclean wickedness of their errors, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin. And I think we do have time to read some more chapters. I know it's a lot to go through and with all the borders and everything, but actually in my research, I found that knowing where those areas that Noah divided the land to his sons, grandsons, and great-grandsons went is very important for us to understand historically. Let's continue reading chapter 10. And in the 3rd week of this Jubilee, the unclean demons began to lead astray the children of the sons of Noah, and to err and destroy them. And the sons of Noah came to Noah their father, and they told him concerning the demons which were leading astray and binding and slaying his sons' sons. And he prayed before the Lord his God, and said, God of the spirits of all flesh, who has shown mercy upon me, and has saved me and my sons from the waters of the flood, and has not caused me to perish, as thou didst the sons of perdition. For thy grace has been great towards me, and great has been thy mercy to my soul. Let thy grace be lift up upon my sons, and let not wicked spirits rule over them, lest they should destroy them from the earth. But do thou bless me and my sons, that we may increase and multiply and replenish the earth. And thou knowest how thy watchers, the fathers of these spirits, acted in my day. And as for these spirits which are living, imprison them and hold them fast in the place of condemnation, and let them not bring destruction on the sons of thy servant my God. For these are malignant and created in order to destroy, and let them not rule over the spirits of the living, for thou alone canst exercise dominion over them. And let them not have power over the sons of the righteous from henceforth and forevermore. And the Lord our God bade us to bind all. And the chief of the spirits, Mastema, came and said, Lord Creator, let some of them remain before me, and let them hearken to my voice, and do all that I shall say unto them. For if some of them are not left to me, I shall not be able to execute the power of my will on the sons of men. For these are for corruption and leading astray before my judgment. For great is the wickedness of the sons of men. And he said, Let the 10th part of them remain before him, and let 9 parts descend into the place of condemnation. And one of us he commanded that we should teach Noah all their medicines, for he knew that they would not walk in uprightness, nor strive in righteousness. And we did according to all his works. All the malignant evil ones we bound in the place of condemnation, and 1/10 part of them we left, that they might be subject before Satan on the earth. And we explained to Noah all the medicines of their diseases, together with their seductions, how he might heal them with herbs of the earth. And Noah wrote down all things in a book, as we instructed him, concerning every kind of medicine. Thus the evil spirits were precluded from hurting the sons of Noah. And he gave all that he had written to Shem, his eldest son, for he loved him exceedingly above all his sons. And Noah slept with his fathers and was buried on Mount Lubar in the land of Ararat. 950 years he completed in his life. 19 Jubilees in 2 weeks and 5 years. And in his life on earth he excelled the children of men, save Enoch, because of the righteousness wherein he was perfect. For Enoch's office was ordained for a testimony to the generations of the world, so that he should recount all the deeds of generation unto generation till the day of judgment. And in the 13th Jubilee, in the first year, in the 2nd week, Peleg took to himself a wife, whose name was Loma, the daughter of Sinar, and she bare him a son in the 4th year of this week, and he called his name Ru, for he said, Behold, the children of men have become evil through the wicked purpose of building for themselves a city and a tower in the land of Shinar. For they departed from the land of Ararat, eastward to Shinar, for in his days they built the city and the tower, saying, Go to, let us ascend thereby into heaven. And they began to build, and in the 4th week they made brick with fire, and the bricks served them for stone. And the clay with which they cemented them together was asphalt, which comes out of the sea and out of the fountains of water in the land of Shinar. And they built it. 43 years were they building it. Its breadth was bricks, and the height of a brick was the third of one. Its height amounted to cubits and palms. And the extent of one wall was 13 stades, and of the other 30 stades. And the Lord our God said unto us, Behold, they are one people, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be withholden from them. Go to, let us go down and confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech, and that they may be dispersed into cities and nations, and one purpose will no longer abide with them till the day of judgment. And the Lord descended, and we descended with him to see the city and the tower which the children of men had built. And he confounded their language, and they no longer understood one another's speech. And they ceased them to build the city and the tower. For this reason, the whole land of Shinar is called Babel, because the Lord did there confound all the language of the children of men. And from thence they were dispersed into their cities, each according to his language and nation. And the Lord sent a mighty wind against the tower, and overthrew it upon the earth. And behold, it was between Ashur and Babylon in the land of Shinar, and they called its name Overthrow. In the 4th week, in the 1st year, in the beginning thereof, in the 13th Jubilee, were they dispersed from the land of Shinar. And Ham and his sons went into the land which he was to occupy, which he acquired as his portion in the land of the south. And Canaan saw the land of Lebanon to the river of Egypt, that it was very good. And he went not into the land of his inheritance to the west, that is, to the sea. And he dwelt in the land of Lebanon, eastward and westward from the border of Jordan, and from the border of the sea. And Ham his father, and Cush, and Mizrahim his brothers, said unto him, Thou hast settled in a land which is not thine, and which did not fall to us by lot. Do not do so, for if thou dost do so, thou and thy sons will fall into the land and be accursed through sedition. For by sedition ye have settled, and by sedition will thy children fall, and thou shalt be rooted out forever. Dwell not in the dwelling of Shem, for to Shem and to his sons did it come by their lot. Cursed art thou, and cursed shall thou be beyond all sons of Noah, by the curse by which we bound ourselves, by an oath, in the presence of the holy judge, and in the presence of Noah our father. But he did not hearken unto them, and dwelt in the land of Lebanon from Hamath to the entering of Egypt, he and his sons until this day. And for this reason that land is named Canaan. And Japheth and his sons went towards the sea, and dwelt in the land of their portion. And Madai saw the land of the sea, and it did not please him. And he begged a portion from Ham and Ashur, and Arpharshad, his wife's brother. And he dwelt in the land of Media, near to his wife's brother, until this day. And he called his dwelling place, and the dwelling place of his sons, Media, after the name of their father, Madai. And that brings me to the end of chapter number 10. And I think that I'm actually going to finish off there. We have a lot to unpack in that chapter, which I will definitely be delving into a little bit more than the other chapters next week. That is definitely a lot to digest. And I'm so grateful to the Most High, Creator God of the universe, the God of all gods, the God of all spirits, for giving me the strength to record this video today. It definitely has been a week filled with adversity for myself, my family, and those in my social circle. I want to ask you all to continue to pray for me as I pray for you. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and I want to remind you that the Most High Creator God, the God of all gods, the God of all spirits, who sent his Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, to die for our sins, loves his children.